Welcome, traveler. You've found Third Shift HFY. The story begins now.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are taking a trip into the very mechanics of storytelling itself.
We are, yeah. Our source material today is this really compelling trilogy from the Third Shift HFY channel.
Right, the humanity feck corner of the internet. It's always celebrating human grit, but this is something else entirely.
Oh, it really is. It takes that whole concept and just pushes it to its logical, almost existential breaking point. We're looking at a cosmic entity, the narrator, who is trying to systematically delete a single character from the entire multiverse.
A single name, really. Chen.
Exactly. The name is Chen.
So this isn't just about, one overpowered character. We're diving into 3 videos that detail this.
Yeah.
This cosmic purge. An attempt to excise the name Chen from every possible timeline, every story.
And the narrator has a reason. They see this endless repetition. Chen as the hero, Chen as the savior, Chen as the warrior, as a kind of a viral infection in the fabric of reality.
A contagion, I think they call it.
Yeah. Yes, a contagion. So the mission for our deep dive is really to examine this clash. On one side, you have the entity trying to maintain the integrity of all stories. And on the other, you have this inevitable, unbreakable archetype.
Okay, let's unpack that because it's a huge idea. The narrator is essentially trying to cleanse humanity's entire mythos. So we need to trace how they do it and, more importantly, why. Why is this one name so dangerous?
Well, to get started, you have to understand the narrator's logic. It's not really malice. It's a kind of twisted stewardship. Their core belief is repetition is cruelty.
Repetition is cruelty. What does that even mean?
The way they see it, having one name, Chen, constantly fill the role of the hero is choking the breath of countless stories. It's trapping humanity in what they call a single echo.
So they actually think they're doing a good thing. They position it as altruism.
Completely. They claim humanity deserves a chorus, lots of different voices, not just this one endless echo. The narrator genuinely thinks they're paving the way for better stories.
By destroying the most familiar one.
Exactly. But the methodology, if the goal is altruism, the method is incredibly cruel. They don't just erase the character. They wait until that Chen is at the absolute peak of their triumph.
Right, to maximize the loss. They're not just erasing the person, they're erasing the hope that came with them.
That's it precisely. It's a surgical strike designed to teach the universe a lesson about relying on, a comfortable trope.
So let's get into the first examples, because they're brutal. We have Daniel Chen, a prisoner in some alien labor camp.
Right, and he's just managed to light this spark of defiance. He's mid-speech, about to start a riot that they desperately need, and that's when the narrator steps in.
He just dissolved.
Just dissolves. And all that rising hope in the prisoners is just, as the story says, erased like chalk washed clean.
Wow. Okay. And then there's Thomas Chen, the tinkerer.
Yes. Always the tinkerer, always the savior with a circuit and a plan. That's the narrator's disdainful take. Thomas is deep inside an enemy ship, seconds away from sabotaging a reactor, a huge species-saving win.
And what happens there?
The narrator doesn't just kill him, it's more subtle. They just redirect a single wire, a tiny change. The reactor fails, but in the wrong direction. So instead of victory, there's just darkness and ruin. It's an erasure of potential.
So if those were surgical strikes, what comes next is, it's a systematic campaign. The narrator seems to be trying to excise every single version of human potential that the name Chen represents.
It becomes a purge. The list of who they erase, it reads like a catalog of humanity's most essential archetypes. They're trying to pull the foundation out from under the whole mythos.
So we start with Marcus Chen, the warrior. He's the soldier on the battlefield rallying the line.
Yep, leading a desperate charge. The narrator just touches his shoulder and poof, he's gone. And without that rallying point, the entire line just collapses under enemy fire.
So they're taking out resolve, but they don't stop there, right?
Yeah.
It gets more fundamental.
Oh, much more. They go after survival itself. Lin Chen, the survivor, she's described as an ember in the ash, just enduring alone in the wilderness.
The narrator just steals her away.
Her fire goes out, and the spot she was sitting in is just empty. They erase the very idea that humanity can endure when it's all alone.
And it keeps going. What about Mei Chen, the explorer?
She's taking humanity's first step on alien soil, a historic moment. But the narrator makes sure it never gets recorded. Her boot prints dissolve in the dust. The camera sees nothing. They're erasing the historical record itself.
Unbelievable. And then maybe the most critical one, Victor Chen, the scientist.
He's at the chalkboard, scribbling the solution to a plague, some kind of salvation in equations?
Let me guess.
The narrator just brushes a hand over the board. The equations unravel into dust. The cure is never found. They're removing the intellectual safety net that Chen always seems to provide.
And this goes all the way up the chain of command, right? We lose leaders, too.
We do. Sophia Chen, the commander of a fleet, she's on the bridge winning a chaotic battle.
And she vanishes mid-command.
Mid-command. The fleet coordination just dissolves, ships scatter, collide. It's chaos. They're eliminating leadership.
And maybe the most chilling one, because of what it says about the narrator's whole philosophy. David Chen, the healer.
Yeah, this one is rough. He's an act of mercy, tending to a wounded alien soldier who fought with humanity.
An act of pure interspecies kindness.
And the narrator erases him, justifying it by saying mercy does not need Chen's hands to matter. The alien is left lifeless. It's not a loss of strategy, it's a loss of tangible kindness.
So across all of these universes, the narrator's making this incredibly brutal point. They even accuse the audience, us, the storytellers, saying you chained humanity to a single word and called it glory.
And after all that, the destruction just scales up dramatically. The narrator turns their attention to the diplomat Chens. And this is where it stops being about individuals and becomes about entire civilizations.
The diplomat, Arjun Chen. He's trying to broker peace between two warring alien races.
A fragile miracle, yeah. He's reaching out his hand, this moment of trust. And that's when he's erased, just before the deal is sealed.
And what happens in the room?
Distrust just roars back into the chamber like fire. The alliance is undone. The war is back on.
And there's another one, Rena Chen, the voice.
Yes. At a huge assembly of 1,000 species, she's about to unite them with her words. And her sound is just cut. Silence.
The crowd turns to chaos.
Confusion, then chaos, then anger. The narrator is destroying every way humanity asserts itself, whether it's through force or brains or just talking.
And at this point, the narrator has a realization about the sheer scale of this, right?
They do. They look at this cosmic map and see the name Chen just pulsing everywhere, a disease. They see thousands of them, Chens across the void, and they realize this isn't just an archetype, it's a full-blown contagion.
And they admit, this will take longer than I thought.
Right. They're extinguishing whole constellations of Chens, and they believe the problem isn't just the characters anymore, it's us, the audience, the listeners who keep demanding that same hero.
They say we cheer the victories as if the echo were the triumph, that we value the predictable story over a new one.
So the purge deepens. The silence gets louder as the narrator tries to force the universe and us to want something different.
Okay, so after silencing thousands of Chens across the multiverse, what's next? They can't keep doing this one by one forever.
Exactly. They realize the inefficiency, so they shift tactics, they go for the source, they find what they call the single thread thick as a chain, the root, the very first spark that fed all the others.
So this is it, the climax. They're going after the source code of the myth.
That's a perfect way to put it. This root thread hums with the power of every Chen victory ever told. If they can pull this one thread, the whole tapestry unravels, the infection dies.
And what is this root? What does it look like?
It's the original archetype, the primordial rebel soldier savior, leading humanity's last stand against these huge alien war machines. The narrator watches from the shadows, and even they have to acknowledge its power. This is a story strong enough to shape the multiverse.
So they try the same trick. They press their hand to the thread, try to will it to collapse, to erase the savior at his peak moment.
But this time, it doesn't work.
It resists.
The thread, the light, it trembles, but then it steadies. And the charge surges on. The erasure fails. This is the big paradox. The original archetype isn't subject to the same rules as its echoes.
This is where it all clicks for the narrator, right? This is the moment they understand.
It is. They realize the pressure, the erasure, all of it. It's just feeding the root. As they press harder, the thread screams back, but, as the text says, not in pain, in defiance. The original Chen just keeps striding forward, unyielding.
So what happens? What's the consequence of trying to destroy the source?
It's immediate, and it's catastrophic for the narrator. The void ripples, and the voices of every single erased Chen come rushing back, all at once.
All of them.
All of them, stitching themselves into this deafening chorus. The light of the root splinters, and each fragment rebirths a face we've already met. Daniel Chen, Sophia Chen, Victor, Rita. Their stories reawaken, but they burn even brighter than before.
So the narrator is just overwhelmed.
utterly push back, their own shadows unraveling, and the collective Chens, they shout back one final message. We are the story. We are every victory. We are surviving. The light becomes this unbearable force.
The hunt is over.
It's over. The narrator concedes defeat. They've learned something through destruction they could never have learned just by watching. They say Chen cannot be destroyed. It is not a story. It is not a man. It is a truth carved into humanity's bones.
Wow. And the root thread. It just remains steady and defiant, stronger than ever, having absorbed every attempt to erase it.
So after diving into all of that, what does this trilogy really tell us? I mean, it's exploring this tension, right, between the need for new stories and the psychological power of a familiar hero.
Absolutely. The narrator tried to force creativity through destruction, and it just backfired spectacularly. It failed because our need for that function, the function of the hero, was too powerful to be erased. It really underscores the power of myth. The Chen archetype, the underdog, the survivor, the one who always rises up. It's so fundamental to how humanity sees itself that trying to erase the name just made the role even stronger.
It became eternal because it was essential. The narrator wanted to teach the universe to rely on new faces, but instead, they just proved how necessary that ultimate hero really is.
Which brings us to the final thought. The narrator's last realization is that they tried to force humanity to march with other names, but Chen remains. So if Chen cannot be destroyed, does that mean true victory isn't about forcing novelty at all, but about accepting the enduring nature of the hero's role?
Maybe the infection wasn't the name, but the narrator's failure to see the light that the name represents, no matter who's carrying it.
Something to think about next time you find your favorite story. Until next time.